one come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. She had not been 2 weeks from shore when down on her a right whale bore. The captain called all hands and swore he'd take that whale in tow. Soon may the whaleman come.
Pull a wide load.
No crocodiles, no snakes. No crocodiles, no snakes. Started in 2 degrees this morning. Wasn't even that early, 7:30. Molesworth warmed up about 2.5 degrees every hour. I'll give you my phone if you... Heading to Aotearoa, bit of a hike, 200 plus, stop and hang there, have some food. I'll be able to pump up my shop, seems to be bottoming out on some of the bumps. I always enjoy some fun facts of the area, so here's some historical information. From the 1850s until the late 1930s, a well-used network of travel routes traversed the backcountry. The main ones forming the first overland route between Nelson and Canterbury. Many tracks followed earlier Māori trails. A chain of 7 accommodation houses was established between Top House and Heranui to serve the travelling public. The Nelson and Canterbury provincial governments established accommodation houses along these routes in the 1860s, and these houses and their succession continued to function until the 1930s. The trip from Nelson to Christchurch on horseback took at least 6 days. The shelters throughout Molesworth have been designed to reflect some of the historical elements found in the station's buildings. The hipped roofs follow those of the old cob and thatch buildings. The red roof has long been part of the Molesworth station's signature colour scheme. The timber floor grating is an echo of the woolshed sheep pens of the past. Mustering the stock over the saddle, the Molesworth has one of the highest passes in the southern hemisphere, over which cattle are mustered. Robinson Saddle at 1700 metres can be a challenge even today, with well-clad telecommunications wide men. Generally, the muster around the eastern ranges takes place in September. The weather at the time can still take an unexpected plunge into snow, sleet or hail. Spending 3 to 4 days away from the homestead requires planning to ensure the pack horses are well stocked and shod, the dogs are fit and ready for departure before daybreak to make Lake Macrae by mid-afternoon. The river crossings are hard on the horses, and unexpected delays can occur, such as having to fix a shoe or reposition a pack. Once the cattle have been rounded up and are back at the homestead, the feeling of satisfaction is good, as a hearty meal and a shower and a change of fresh clothes. Whether it's a muster from last week or last century, the feeling probably not changed. The Rachel Range was named in honour of Rachel Chisholm, wife of Molesworth manager Bill Chisholm. At the northern end of the range, overlooking the Molesworth homestead, lies Mount Chisholm, named after the manager himself. In the relative isolation of this part of the Molesworth road trip, it would be possible, perhaps, to imagine the isolation of a station life as experienced by Rachel. And her early life prepared her reasonably well for high country life. By the age of 14, when Rachel left school to become a land girl, she could milk cows, sew clothes, knit, cook, write, record, keep books, manage a house and a vegetable garden, and carry out first aid like many of her peers. She met her future husband at the local dance and was courted in a world where the standard transport for young people was horse or bicycle. When Rachel arrived at the Molesworth in 1942 and was confronted with a ramshackle homestead in the middle of nowhere, she combined her skills and can-do attitude with those of her husband to get on with the job of running the backcountry station. The arrival was the fifth move Rachel and Bill had made in 3 years of married life, and despite her husband's reassurance that they would stay 5 years, they actually stayed 36 years. In 1979, 6 months after the Chisholms had left the Molesworth for the last time, Rachel was awarded the Queen's Service Medal. It was a fitting award for a woman who had helped create a financially successful cattle farm from an impoverished sheep station. Rachel adapted well to the severe isolation of the Molesworth, a place in 1942 without vehicle roads, electricity, telephone or reliable running water. The Molesworth homestead did not get road access until 1950, a diesel generator until the 1960s, and even then only one appliance could be run at a time. And then they got mains power in 1977. In 1865, pioneer John Murphy built a one-room cottage at the new Molesworth station. When a subsequent owner added a second room and a simple dwelling became a homestead. The cottage was made of cob because there was no timber around to make a wooden house. All of the trees had been burnt down. Cob is a sticky dough-like mixture of clay, straw and animal dung. The mixture made on the site and trampled by horses until it reached the ideal consistency. Jolly's Pass, the inland route from Hamner to Nelson, was explored in December 1851 by Edward James Lee. In March 1852, the first flock of 1,800 sheep was driven from the Wirral Plain by Lee and Edward Jolly through what became known as Jolly's Pass.
You will. On the road again. good morning.
Yes, so. Now that you're here to draft behind me.
Sunburnt knees. Oh, you didn't, obviously no cream on them. Lunch break.
Already had 12 inches.
Came from Twizel this morning in the dark. Now going up there over the saddle off to Alex this morning. Well, all day. Great weather, been so lucky. Beautiful views here. Fantastic weather. $60K done. It's 10:15. Big day, 240 odd K today. Again, lucky with the weather, can't complain. Just came off doing an hour and a bit on single track, goat track. Now gravel roading it back out to Aotearoa. Oh, came from over there. I'm going to go over there, the saddle. It's going to be a big day.
Panoramic photo.
The Aotearoa saddle descent was pretty bumpy, to say the least. The fords weren't so bad, but the bumpy roads in between made it for a very rough ride. Very glad I had suspension on the bike.
Story of my day, walking through rivers. This must be like number 50, and that's the road. There's a river. Yeah, must to say my feet are wet and my wheels are full of water. Loving it. Just made it 1 minute to spare. Got my food. Sorry, what's your name?
Clear.
Claire.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
No problem. No, good luck.
Yeah, yeah.
The seminar doing it.
Super cool store.
Oh, yeah.
How old is it?
126 years.
Wow, that's cool.
The only still running as a general store.
126
in New
years.
Zealand. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Building the tunnels. After 19 years of construction, work along the Aotearoa Central Railway had been completed from Wingatui near Moscow as far as Ranfurly in 1898 at a length of 123 kilometres. By 1901, a further 33 kilometres of the line was completed to Ida Valley Station. Although this was the shortest distance, it took 3 years to cover the 20 kilometres to Aotearoa due to the difficult terrain requiring the construction of tunnels and viaducts. The two Poolburn Gorge tunnels, number 12 and 13, are significant because they were constructed by blasting the solid rock. The entrance portholes were faced with schist rock, and the tunnels were lined at either end with brick. This was tough, dangerous work for the men involved, with many risks, with explosive slips and the weather making the work difficult. My original plan was to ride from Alex to Aotearoa, but due to some unforeseen mechanicals, flat tyres, slit in the side wall, broken spokes and a rather long visit to the bike shop in Cromwell, I ended up wasting 5 hours of my day, so didn't start the Nevis Valley section until 2:30 in the afternoon, so had to make some last minute accommodation plans. And near Garston, stayed at Welcome Rock. Amazing time there with the host Tom. I highly recommend the Red Shed if you guys are passing through. It's one of the great things about trips like this is you meet all different walks of life, different people. As much as roughing it in a top hut, dock hut, tent, some people enjoy, I actually enjoy meeting different hosts, especially different walks of life. You end up having some fantastic conversations. This was my first time riding the Nevis. I must say, thoroughly enjoyed it. Didn't know what to expect. It was long, it was bumpy in parts, but very, very remote. Apparently the highest public road in New Zealand. Fun fact.
Savage. You never quite know how deep those things are. And you never quite know how bumpy these roads are going to be. This is the smooth stuff. Sun's going down soon. Got to get off the Nevis to the accommodation. Don't really want to be riding in the dark. I got lights, but it's just not the same. And this must be the last climb. Sounds. Some of the highlights probably be the major climbs, like Duffus Saddle, Aotearoa Saddle and Mackenzie Pass. Especially enjoyed the descent on Mackenzie Pass. Also enjoyed the asphalt descent from the Homer Tunnel down to Milford Sound. Definitely like to come back, especially visit places like Garston and the Nevis Valley again. Special thanks to the Kennett brothers for putting all these amazing trails in and around New Zealand. The books give very good insight into how to proceed and where to go. A lot of work and effort's gone into it, so we appreciate that. There are a few things to consider before planning your Sounds to Sounds journey. Bike choice and gear being high on the list for me, be something I'll get into in a separate video. But the most important is when to ride. You can't ride Sounds to Sounds all year round. Ignoring the fact that winter can see temperatures drop below zero, Twizel commonly hits the top of the list for one of the coldest places in the country over the winter months, with Met Service regularly announcing a morning wake-up temperature in the negatives. There are also the following restrictions. The first 30 kilometres of the Queen Charlotte track, Ship Cove to Kenepuru Saddle, are only open between the 1st of March and the 30th of November each year. Outside that time, you can start from Kenepuru Saddle by getting a water taxi to Punga Cove, or you could start from Picton. The Aotearoa road through the Molesworth station is usually only open from 7 AM to 7 PM daily from the 1st of October to Easter Monday. Go to the Department of Conservation website at www.doc.govt.nz to check exactly when the road is open. If it's closed, your next best option is to ride from Blenheim up the Highway 63 towards St Arnaud and then through the Rainbow Station to Hamner Springs. That option is described in Classic New Zealand Cycle Trails by the Kennett brothers, and you'll find access details for the Rainbow at www.rainbowstation.co.nz. Aotearoa Pass is regularly closed by snow and floods in winter and early spring. The Nevis Valley is closed annually from the 1st of June to the 30th of September, when it's likely to be covered in snow, and the Milford Road will also be snowbound in winter. The best month to bike pack this route is March. Every part of the course should be open, the weather is usually settled, and the peak tourist season is over. Another unique aspect of the Sounds to Sounds is that it's hilly, very hilly. In fact, there are about 16,500 metres of climbing, almost 2 Mount Everest. There are 3 ways to prepare for this challenge. Obviously, you can train for hills. Building up your own strength and cardiovascular fitness in the 3 months leading up to the event will make a huge difference, but overdoing the training can lead to an injury. Allow plenty of rest and recovery time between training rides. Think positively about how you attack your 4 toughest hills: Wards Pass, Rockwood Road, Aotearoa Saddle and Duffus Saddle. These climbs are all unsealed and very steep in places. They usually require some foot cycling. That's fine, you can walk up steep hills almost as fast as cycling in the bottom gear, and walking is a lot easier. So on this part I left at 4 AM from Te Anau to try and beat the traffic. Managed to avoid most of the traffic until I got to the Homer Tunnel, and then now the descent down, there was a few cars that overtook me just before the bottom.
One